Every night it begins the same way. You lie down, let out a long breath, and feel your body sink into the bed. The room is quiet, the lights gone, the last noise of the day fading into distance. For a moment everything feels right. The muscles unclench, the heartbeat slows, and the mind begins to float. Sleep finally takes you. And then, without warning, something pulls you back. No alarm clock, no sudden sound, only a faint message from somewhere deep inside. The bladder stirs and the body listens. You rise, half asleep, stumbling through the dark, the floor cool beneath your bare feet. A few minutes later you're back in bed, searching for the warmth that already escaped. But sleep doesn't come back so easily. The silence feels heavier now. The brain has turned its lights on again. By morning it shows on your face. The dull weight behind the eyes, the heaviness in the chest, the fog that coffee only hides for an hour. You start the day already tired, as if your body worked the night shift while your mind begged for rest. And for millions of people, this is not once or twice a week, it's every single night. They whisper to themselves, "That's just age. Everyone after 50 gets up at night." But that's not the truth. Age may bring changes, yes, but waking multiple times to urinate isn't destiny. It's communication. Your body is telling you something, not in words, but in rhythm. My name is Dr. Alexei Sergeyevich, and for more than 30 years I've listened to this same story from patients of every background. "Doctor, I fall asleep quickly, but after an hour I'm awake again. Sometimes 2, sometimes 5 times a night. I've tried to stop drinking water, I've tried teas, nothing helps." The look in their eyes is always the same. Exhaustion mixed with quiet despair, and every time I tell them, your body isn't betraying you, it's asking for balance. Let me tell you about one man, Sergei Pavlovich, 71 years old, a proud retired engineer, disciplined, neat, always on time. Yet every morning he came to my office late, because his nights no longer belonged to him. "I don't sleep, doctor," he said. "I just wait for the next trip to the bathroom." His kidneys were fine, his blood work perfect. But I noticed the swelling around his ankles, the faint marks of socks pressed into his skin. Gravity had been working on him all day, drawing fluid into his legs. When he lay down, all that water flowed back into the bloodstream. The kidneys, faithful workers, started filtering at full power, exactly when the body should have been resting. It wasn't a disease, it was timing. I asked him to make 3 small changes. First, drink more water in the morning, less after dinner. Second, about 90 minutes before bed, lie down and lift your legs on 2 firm pillows. Not to exercise, but to let gravity return the fluid while he was still awake. Third, after the last visit to the bathroom at night, wait 20 seconds, stand up, move a little, sit again, and try once more. He laughed at first. "You're telling me to lie with my legs up and go twice before bed? That's medicine." I smiled. "No, that's physiology. You've been fighting gravity your whole life. Now let it help you." A week later, he came back with a quiet joy I'll never forget. "Doctor, I thought it was a coincidence, but I slept through the night. My wife asked if I was still alive." We laughed together, but inside I felt that familiar gratitude. Sometimes healing doesn't require new pills, only new respect for the body's rhythm. The human body is a masterpiece of timing. The heart beats, the lungs rise and fall, the kidneys filter with perfect precision. But when that rhythm breaks, when we drink most of our fluids at night, when stress keeps our nerves awake, when we sit too long during the day, the entire system loses its coordination. The kidneys don't know when to rest, the bladder becomes too sensitive, and the nervous system interprets every drop of urine as an emergency. That's why you wake up. Not because you're weak, because your inner rhythm forgot the melody. I saw this again with Elena Viktorovna, 68, a retired teacher with gentle eyes and the patience of someone who'd spent 40 years explaining mathematics to restless teenagers. She told me she hadn't slept more than 3 hours at a stretch in over a decade. I stopped drinking water after 6, she said proudly, so I won't wake up. But her lips were dry, her blood pressure unstable, her skin dull, the signs of a body running on too little fluid. Dehydration doesn't silence the kidneys, it stresses them. It makes the urine more concentrated, more irritating to the bladder. That irritation itself wakes you. We started with a simple plan. Drink freely before noon, moderately after lunch, almost nothing in the last 2 hours before bed. And no coffee, tea or wine in the evening. Only warm water if truly needed. She doubted, but agreed. 2 weeks later she called. "Doctor," she said, "I slept 5 hours straight. My husband says I snore now." That was her victory song. The science behind these stories is simple but profound. During the day, gravity stores water in the legs. At night it returns. If we help that process early, the kidneys finish their night shift before we close our eyes. Add to that a calm nervous system, quiet breathing, warm hands, soft light, and the bladder stops shouting. The brain finally can stay asleep. But most people don't realize that nighttime urination isn't only about the kidneys. It's about communication between brain and body. When we live in constant alertness, phones, deadlines, arguments, the sympathetic nervous system keeps every muscle slightly tense, including the bladder. It becomes like a guard dog that barks at every sound. Even a half-full bladder sends a signal loud enough to wake you. The cure begins not in the toilet, but in the mind. That's why, every evening, I ask my patients to make a truce with the day. Turn off the screens, dim the light, sit quietly for a few minutes and breathe. 4 counts in, 6 counts out. You can feel the body begin to trust the night again. It's not meditation or mysticism. It's a biological reset. The brain reads your slow breath as proof. The danger is gone. And when the brain believes that, the bladder believes it too. Sometimes I think of the body as a loyal assistant who's simply misunderstood. We overload it with caffeine, then blame it for restlessness. We deprive it of water, then complain that it malfunctions. We push it through the day's chaos, then demand silence at midnight. But the body listens only to patterns, not promises. Give it consistency, and it will repay you with peace. That peace is possible at any age. I've seen it in people of 70, 80, even 90. The night is not the enemy. It's the mirror. When the rhythm returns, water at the right hours, movement during the day, calm in the evening, the mirror shows a calmer face. The morning becomes light again. There's a moment, somewhere between night and dawn, when silence feels almost sacred. It's the hour when the body should be deepest in rest, the heart steady, the breath smooth, the brain busy repairing the memory of the day. But for many people, that moment is broken by the quiet sound of their own footsteps across a dark hallway. The bladder, small and insistent, calls again. And once that happens, the sacred silence is gone. When I talk to patients, I tell them, your night doesn't start when you close your eyes. It starts in the morning. From the first glass of water you drink, from the light that touches your face, from the rhythm of motion and rest you create through the day. If you live the daylight right, the night will take care of itself. Let me explain. The body keeps time through light, movement, and food. The brain produces melatonin at night, but only if it received enough sunlight during the day. The kidneys slow their work when the nervous system relaxes, but only if they weren't forced to play catch-up because of late drinking habits. The bladder stays calm only when its muscles and surrounding nerves are balanced. And that balance depends on minerals like magnesium and potassium, which most of us don't get enough of anymore. So when someone says, "I wake up every night and I don't know why," the answer is rarely just one thing. It's the harmony of everything. Years ago, I used to think sleep was mostly about hormones. Then I realized it's about trust. The body sleeps only when it feels safe. Safe in temperature, safe in rhythm, safe in chemistry. And that's something no pill can buy. You can sedate the mind, but you can't force trust. It has to be rebuilt gently through routine. I remember one of my most skeptical patients, Nikolai, 65. A strong man, loud voice, ex-soldier. He looked at me like I was wasting his time when I spoke of balance and rhythm. "Doctor," he said, "I need a cure, not poetry." I smiled. "Then let's make a deal," I told him. "Try this routine for 1 week. No more coffee after noon. Drink most of your water before 3. Before bed, 30 minutes with your legs raised. And before lying down, visit the toilet twice, not once." He sighed but agreed. When he returned, he was quieter. "I didn't think it would matter," he admitted, "but I slept 7 hours, straight." I nodded. "That's not medicine," I said. "That's cooperation." He laughed. "So I just needed to make peace with gravity?" "Yes," I told him, "and with yourself." It's a strange thing, how our own bodies try to help us, even when we ignore them. The kidneys never stop filtering, even when we feed them salt and caffeine. The bladder holds and releases with incredible precision, even when we forget to train it. The heart beats through our mistakes, the nerves adapt, the muscles compensate. But over time, these quiet acts of loyalty become tired. They begin to whisper for help. Frequent awakenings are one of those whispers. People often think they have to do something dramatic to fix their sleep. Start a new diet, buy supplements, turn their life upside down. But nature works through small gestures, repeated daily. 1 glass of warm water in the morning instead of at night. 1 walk after lunch to remind the blood to circulate. 1 quiet breath before bed to show the nervous system that the fight is over. Each of these actions is tiny. Together, they're transformative. Even something as simple as temperature can change everything. Many modern bedrooms are too warm. The body needs a slight drop in temperature to release melatonin and relax the muscles. Open a window for a few minutes before bed. Let the air move. The coolness tells your brain it's night. These are ancient mechanisms, older than any medicine. Another important truth: the bladder and the brain share a direct communication line. When you constantly wake up at night, that line becomes overused, hypersensitive. But if you retrain it, by creating longer intervals during the day, by delaying 1 bathroom trip gently, by breathing through mild urges instead of rushing, it learns patience again. It's the same way we train the mind not to react to every notification or worry. Both require calm repetition, and then something magical happens. One night, the urge doesn't come, or it comes faintly and you sleep through it. The brain decides we're safe. You wake in the morning surprised, not because something new happened, but because for the first time in a long time, nothing happened. The night was finally quiet. When people experience this, they often cry. They don't expect the gift of a full night's rest to feel so emotional. But it is. It's the return of trust in your own body. The proof that you are not broken, just misaligned. That you can realign yourself with simple things: light, water, rest, patience. I always say, your age doesn't steal your sleep, your habits do. And habits can change at any time. The body never stops learning. Even after 70 years, it can build new rhythms. It only needs gentle, consistent guidance. So if tonight you wake again, don't be angry. Don't curse your body or your age. Sit up, breathe, stretch your legs, drink a sip of warm water if you're thirsty. Whisper to yourself, "We'll get there." Because you will. And now, as this talk comes to an end, I want to remind you of one simple truth. Peace is not something you chase. It's something you create by listening. The bladder, the kidneys, the nerves, they all speak to you in their own quiet ways. All you have to do is stop shouting back and start listening. Your nights can be calm again. Your mornings can be clear. You just have to believe that rest is not a luxury. It's your natural state. If this message resonated with you, if you recognized yourself somewhere in these words, don't keep it to yourself. Press like and share this video with someone who struggles to sleep through the night. Sometimes a single story can change how we see our own bodies. And if you'd like to hear more of these calm, honest talks about health, aging, and the small natural ways we can restore balance, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, join our growing community, and let's keep building a place where science meets warmth, where healing feels human again, and where every night ends the way it should, in peace. And all of that begins with one small belief. The body wants to help you. It always has.